This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world. I'm Bruce. And I'm Jody. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go. I think it's time to talk about the drama llama in the room.
Ooh, drama.
Drama llama. It goes like you do like this. It's a drama llama.
Oh, oh yeah, perfect. I can see the llama.
I'll have to take a picture of it. It's like a hand symbol.
Yes.
Hand symbol.
Yep. All right, so drama.
Yes, but specifically more of, well, I don't even know if it's drama, but like family drama.
Okay.
Like when you go to, I don't know, say graduation parties or family reunions or weddings or any sort of family gatherings, or just in general family stuff.
Right.
And how do you maybe navigate that, or how do we navigate that kind of stuff, and what kind of things do we see in that without calling out our family too much? But
the big one for me growing up was always going to see like, a family member, a grandparent, or an aunt that you hadn't seen in a long time. It'd be like, oh, it's so good to see you. It looks like you've gained weight. You're looking bigger. Oh, all those kind of things. They're always horrible. They were always just so infuriating.
Thanks, Auntie.
And yeah, you hear that enough and you start to work up ways to kind of deal with it.
Yeah. I don't necessarily get maybe called out quite as like direct as that.
Sure.
There's more like, it's almost like those weird compliments, but they're not
backhanded
Yeah, they're backhanded compliments. Yeah. You're like, oh, I feel good. And then, oh, wait.
Right.
Wait, what did you?
Yep.
So what? Like, and just dealing with that, and then dealing with, being a gay man. And sometimes I've been pretty lucky with my family. They're all okay with it. So there haven't been a lot of that. But sometimes some of my partner's family isn't, the extended family isn't always maybe as supportive or welcoming or whatever. So just how do you navigate that kind of stuff? Or how do you, navigate maybe the uncle that might say racist or misogynistic, homophobic, what do you do when that's happening? Like, do you just sit and let them talk, or do you say something like I don't know?
I think in my situation, I think it depends on who the family member is. There's not a ton of that I run into, but there are absolutely family members that are that say things that are ridiculous, or sometimes they just talk to talk, and it's not necessarily even something they believe. It's just something they throw out there. In other cases, it is absolutely something they believe, and it's it is a case of them not having experienced other people, or having been out in the world enough to know that not everything is the way that they think it is.
Just because it's, you don't know any gay people, or you don't know any African American people, or Muslims, or any sort of minority group, doesn't mean that they're the others, quote, whatever.
You don't know them, so you only know what you've heard, and you believe these certain things.
Yeah. So I always feel like it's important to be, especially for me, like being an out gay person, that's kind of a weird statement, but like just being who I am, but just being a face to this other thing that people maybe don't always understand, or maybe they don't think they know any gay people or whatever. I mean, it's kind of hard to say you don't know any black people or whatever. And what, I don't know. Yeah. But just being genuinely who you are, and like having conversations, I think is really important, but being respectful in those conversations and being understanding. And, I think it's just a very, it can be a very stressful thing for a lot of people. Hanging out with family, being a, plus size person, and trying to be with maybe you're not plus size family, and dealing with you look like you've gained weight, or you look like you've lost weight. Oh, we're so happy for you. You know, that kind, you know, like how do you navigating that stuff can be so hard.
Definitely. I think that, you know, those preconceived notions, that's a big thing where people really think that you are a certain way because of who you are. I know, living for a long time in the Midwest, especially for a long time in a very small town in the Midwest, that everybody was trying to be the same. You weren't finding people who were different. If you were gay, you mostly weren't out, you know, at least in my experience of meeting people and being around people there for 13 some odd years, that you weren't seeing that. You weren't allowed to be yourself as much, you know?
Yeah. You're trying to, keep up with the Joneses and have the whatever American dream, the 3.5 kids, the picket fence, and I think,
and there was a very specific idea of what what a gay person is, someone who practices a different religion or is of a different race, what those people are. And they're built on these totally erroneous ideas. So I think I get what you're saying, you know, as much as I can, what you're saying about being there and kind of being, you know, you are representing this idea and showing people that it's not this thing that they thought it was.
Yeah, just showing them that I'm a real person that is in their world. Like, this is who I am. I'm not the image that you had in your head of what a gay person is supposed to be. You know, I'm not a stereotypical, you know, what you see plastered on advertisements, that, you know, ripped, skinny, you know, done up anything, you know, wearing crazy flamboyant clothes or anything. I mean, sometimes, yes, maybe, but it's just, I'm a quote unquote normal guy. I drink beer, I hang out, you know, like, I don't know, like, I'm as normal as any, you know, I don't know. It just, it seems weird that people get so.
Well, they have this specific idea of what it is to be gay. And they don't get that because in a lot of cases they've never met anybody who's gay. So,
or they don't think they ever did.
Right. Exactly. they don't know that they have. Yeah. So,
and it's always, it's fun to like, well, I don't know, fun. It's interesting when it's like, oh, you know, we don't talk to who, you know, cousin, whatever. Because, you know, they're kind of racist and homophobic, so we just let them do their thing. And I'm like, well, why don't we just go?
Why don't you engage?
Why don't you just have a conversation? Like, I know it can be difficult to navigate that, but just have a conversation about experiences or what's going on, or, you know, just hanging out, I think, with them makes a world of difference. You know? Like, giving a face to what they think. I don't know.
Family dynamics are so hard, especially when you've grown up. When you start as a child and you've dealt with some of these people all your life, there's this thing, I know for me at least, with some family members where it's like you feel like you fit into a certain place even after 40 years, you know, and dealing with that, it's difficult. But
that's just how that person is. We don't talk about it. We don't.
But sometimes you can't let that stuff slide.
No,
you know,
they are your family, and you're supposed to love them and respect them and all that stuff. But I also feel like part of that love and respect is educating people,
calling them out if you need to.
You know, it doesn't need to be a big argument and a big, you know, knockdown fist fight thing, which, you know, happens sometimes in families. But just having a conversation, say, hey, you know, I heard you, even if it doesn't have to be like at the Thanksgiving or whatever table in front of everyone. Like, it doesn't need to be that big, but it could even just be pulled aside. Like, hey, you know, I heard you talking about whatever. And I'd really like to hear more about why you feel that way, or what do you think about this thing, and show your, like, this is how I feel about it.
When I was younger and I ran into those kind of situations with family members, I would always try to push it a little more,
Yeah.
be out there and kind of push those buttons, kind of push those things that were problems for them that annoyed me because they brought them up, or but that wasn't always the best way.
Like what sort of thing?
just being, especially when it becomes to be like the weight thing was really the big thing for me.
Were you wearing like belly shirts or like shirtless? And
I mean, definitely summer kind of things, or things like that, where you're just kind of you're just there. People have comments about your body, those kind of things, and so I would it would annoy me, so I'd continue to bring up the comment and kind of push the issue in different ways, or as especially as they thought were kind of past it, and bring it back up. Well, maybe that's because I'm fat. Things like that. Where, it wasn't very constructive, but it sure made me feel better in the moment.
Yeah.
Or it would make things worse, and you'd have to.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm like, you have to navigate those situations.
It's not constructive to do.
Yeah, sometimes you have to figure out. Yeah, poking at the bear maybe isn't.
But it's also, figuring out that the family that you were born into, not all of those people are the family that you have to keep, is important.
Yes, there's very much so the family that you choose, and I think that's very important. You need support systems in your life, so not completely relying on the people that aren't supporting you,
right,
or not accepting you, and being okay with the fact that, hey, Uncle John,
right,
whoever, mom, dad, they aren't okay with this, and just kind of having to move on and like find your support system, find that family that you choose.
Totally.
And I don't, my family isn't that big. My immediate family isn't that big, so sometimes you have to fill in those gaps with friends and family, right, friends of friend, whatever, and you find your people, and you get your support, and you hang out, and you have. We had these orphan Thanksgivings a lot in Minneapolis with people that either couldn't get back to family or didn't have family or whatever, and you just come together, and it was great. It was so awesome to like have all these orphans and at someone's house and just hanging out. And
some of the people I'm closest with are people who aren't blood relatives. Speaking of feeling supported, I feel like a beer would help support me.
Beer always helps.
You brought a special one.
And I don't know anything about this. So it's called Fresh Bong Water. Ooh. I mean, I know kind of about that, but it's a hemp ale from Kettle House Brewing Company. My partner Bjorn brought this back from Missoula, Montana, which seemed weird. I'm like, I don't think weed is legal in Montana, but whatever. We're in the great state of Oregon, where
where it is
enjoy, or don't enjoy, whatever. So it's a hemp ale, bong water. I just have weird.
So it's an ale, okay?
Yeah, it says hemp ale, which I'm like, is there brewed with hemp? I need to get the Untapped app out and find out what the heck is going on with this.
What is it?
I'm scared to even drink it.
Yeah. Let's see how it goes.
Water. Oh, it looks like it's normal beer, like ale colored.
Right. Pale ale. 5%. It is made with Montana-grown barley and Canadian-grown industrial hemp, making it a smooth drinking, slightly nutty light ale. Caramel malts were added to enhance head retention and contribute a touch of sweetness. Great for parties where mass appeal is desired. I would say, it's very easy drinking. You may hear a dog in the background.
A little visitor in the studio today.
We do. Bernie is here with us, special guest.
Yeah. This is a decent, ale. I was actually kind of apprehensive about this at first. I was like, bong water. I don't want to drink that.
It's not weedy.
I was like,
and I've certainly had beers that kind of have that.
They do have, they have some of those
like resiny kind of. Yeah, and this is not that. This is super easy drinking. It is a little. There's a touch of sweetness.
Yeah, light, smooth, clean,
nutty.
Sweet.
I do get a little of the nuttiness.
You get nutty.
Yeah, this is good. I like this. For some reason, it makes me want cheese. But everything makes me want cheese.
I know you're a cheese head.
I know.
That's not the right word for that, but that's what I call it.
We'll take it. Yep. Yeah, I would definitely drink this again.
I'm going to give this probably a 4.5 to 5 actually.
Yeah, this is it is a 5% ABV beer.
Oh, yeah.
So
we like that's good too.
Yeah, so there you go.
The IBU says NA, so it's not bitter, and there's no hoppiness to it really.
No,
oh my goodness,
not.
Excuse me.
Don't
Good job,
mind this.
Kettle House. I think we've had Kettle House.
Have we?
Before. Well, it's from Missoula, so I'm sure Bjorn brought us some other things before.
Yeah, I like these Montana beers. This is good. It's nice having some different beers that aren't just like
it's brewed with
neighborhood.
hemp seed.
Yes.
Okay. Well, hemp. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just the name got me scared, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I know. I expected a very different taste, but I like that. I like when they can kind of subvert your expectations.
They're tricky.
Yeah. So impressive. So back to our conversation.
So you might need a couple of these to maybe get the courage to have the conversation that needs to be had with the family.
Or, to broker peace. That could be.
Yes, bring a fresh bong water as a peace offering.
Right.
Or whatever your favorite brew is.
So, without going into any, huge detail, have you found that? Have you been in a situation where you've been able to kind of see a family member's mind change about maybe the way that anything?
I mean, I think so. I mean, like I said, I recently went to my partner's brother's high school graduation, and there was a lot of his cousins and, all these people that I haven't met yet, some of his extended family. And just in general, I think sometimes you're unsure how people are going to always accept, being gay, and just, you kind of just are there and like hanging out and like, nice to meet you, whatever.
Sure.
And then I just hang out, and I just really try to be a part of the group, whatever we're doing. And
right.
I think I'm a people person, and I can talk to people really well. I've had tons of retail experience. I can just talk to anyone about anything, kind of deal.
Sure.
And you sometimes just have to, I feel like I've had a positive impact on maybe some other family members, like just being confident in who you are.
Sure.
Whatever it is, like you just confidently need to be you and not I'm not looking for their acceptance or validation or whatever, just being like, hey, this is me. I'm here.
Right.
I'm not looking for your validation or acceptance.
Just by the fact of them seeing you.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm playing cards. I'm drinking. We're hanging out. We're doing whatever. And I think that's really important to just be. You need to take up the space and be there.
Right.
And be okay in your body and whatever your otherness is, whatever it is.
Sure.
And I think doing that and being confident is the biggest way to change people's minds and their hearts. And like, and at the end of the day, if they don't come around, I'm perfectly okay with that as well. And I don't need to interact with them, and that's fine.
That's the thing, is that I think we are all aware that you're not going to be able to change everybody's mind or make everybody come around to whatever, but you don't always have to be around those people. You really don't. I mean, when it comes down to it, if it's not a situation that you want to be in, you shouldn't have to be in that situation. You know.
And I agree with that, but
sucks.
I also, it's like, that sucks. And I personally wouldn't not go to a family thing because
Sure.
of crazy Uncle Jerry
Right.
or whatever. And
yeah.
I don't have a crazy Uncle Jerry.
But you
all my personal uncles were
not
pretty
crazy?
No, they're very crazy.
Oh, they were? Oh.
But
none of them
I
were
love
named
them,
Jerry.
and they were named Jerry, and they were all, great. But I don't want that to also, if there's just, there's a person in the group that I don't want that to ruin the relationships with the rest of the family or take you away from your friend group or, your chosen family, like any of that kind of stuff. Like, don't let them ruin it.
Don't let the bastards get you down.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, good. Yeah. I mean, I hope that helps. You handle it the best way that you can. Mm-hmm. Do what feels right for you. Don't stay in a situation if you don't feel like it's a place you need to be.
If it's not healthy and conducive to, your well-being, I totally understand. Like, you just need to get the heck out of there. Uh-huh. And I totally support that.
Right.
But I also don't want it to be a thing where it keeps you from your family either. Yeah. Like, maybe have conversations with other members of your family and saying, hey, Uncle Jerry really makes me uncomfortable because whatever.
Yes, absolutely.
And then maybe other people can have conversations with him. Or maybe Uncle Jerry just doesn't get to come to whatever,
Absolutely.
And I think having the conversation is really important. That's my biggest thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, we want to know how you deal with your family drama. Is it, or how you've dealt with it? Do you deal with it every year? Are you dreading going back for the holidays?
Mm-hmm. Do you just not go back?
Right. Are you just done? Like, we'd love to know. I think everybody has different coping mechanisms and everybody has different suggestions, and we would love to hear about them.
Yeah, bong water is not always the greatest solution.
It's not always. Most of the time.
A little bit of bong water is fine.
But not always.
But not, don't hit it too hard. Mm-hmm. Share this episode with your family. And maybe
we'll do the talking for you.
We'll do the talking for you, yes. Hey, Jerry.
If you have an Uncle Jerry,
get your stuff together.
Oh, man.
Yes, everyone with an Uncle Jerry needs to share this episode.
Please.
And they will just listen and know that it's about them.
I love it. Perfect.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.